Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me. It's August 18th, 2024. It is Sunday, so hopefully you're enjoying your weekend somewhere. There's quite a bit to go over for this one, so let's start right off with the markets. Our favorite risk indicator, the MMRI, 247, so it's rising again. Still below 250, but it's in a high territory. So this coupled with the fear greed meter heading back towards that higher end, showing more money flowing back into the stock markets. So they did end last week in the green. It's back up after that short dip. So with that, a lot more money piling back in. The sentiment for this is because investors think the worst is over. I still think there is more of a rug pull coming. We are not done yet. However, this is basically the summary of it. Goldman cutting US recession risk following retail sales and jobs data. So basically, no more recession because Fed's going to sail in, save everybody, cut rates. We had wonderful economic resilience, drove stocks up best week this year, and buyers are stepping in, even though it dropped a little bit on Monday, even though they were panicking last Monday. So with this, we've got cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin back above 60,000, setting a level here, strengthening the support there, if you will. Not financial advice here, but it looks like that would basically be a good floor for it to make a move from there. We've got a Dubai court recognizing crypto as a valid salary payment. That is bullish for it because a very small percentage of the world basically even holds crypto, much less uses it. And this would drive adoption. They do want to be the cryptocurrency capital, so this is a good move on their part as far as driving that forward. So with this in our calendar, we've got a few things coming in. So we've got some reports, but really everyone's going to be watching the Federal Reserve is at Jackson Hole Symposium. This starts on Thursday, the 22nd, and then Jerome Powell will be speaking from there on Friday. So this is a huge central banking conference for the globe, basically. So it's going to be a bunch of economists, financial market people, and then also some government representatives from the United States, of course, just discussing long-term policy issues. They're not collaborating or anything like that, even though, it's kind of closed off here. But basically, they're deciding what they're doing forward, which is not whether they're going to inflate, but how. So basically, traders going to be watching what Jerome Powell says on Friday. Could be very volatile. 10 a.m. that day. Also getting new home sales and a few other economic updates as far as the PMI coming on Thursday as well. Getting the Fed's FOMC meeting minutes, but the big ones will be toward the end of the week. So uh, I expect quite a week ahead, particularly towards the end. We'll update you daily, of course. However, this one is going to be, I believe, one to set aside. So with the earnings that we're looking at the calendar, there's a few larger ones, namely Tuesday, looking at lows for indicators for the real economy, because that's home building, home improvement, and you will see through this, basically people are spending money on their homes if they're improving and if they're building their own stuff. So we've got Wednesday is Target and Macy's. That will give insight into real retail numbers. And then we've also got the jobless claims Thursday and home sales, but those are kind of cooked numbers. So with this, more news on Powell. He's huddling with bank CEOs, okay, to avoid long legal fight over capital plan. Basically, the cover is that they're going to be holding reserve currency for the banking institutions. And this is not absolutely correct. They don't hold 10% complete assets. And we've still got a large number of smaller to mid-sized banks that need to be cleared out. So they are either going to be closed, go out of business, get merged, or purchased outright. So a lot more banks are going to be going down the drain in the next coming couple of few months. So we'll keep an eye on this going forward. I'd like to jump over here to our current VP because she's got a wonderful plan. And just if we force grocery stores to sell food at a loss so they can do government price controls, build thousands and thousands of houses with tax dollars, and then lower taxes. She didn't say exactly for who. Everything will be wonderful again. And um, none of these solutions have worked in the past. They're all massively inflationary. And before anybody thinks I'm picking on one side, actually, the policies of the other side are massively inflationary as well, just in a different way. The problem is this: we've gone beyond a particular point. It's going to take an awful lot of pain if they want to reverse this. And there is no political willpower on either side to do what it would take in order to bring this back into where it needs to be. So both will inflate, and that is the drive of the banks, basically devaluing the currency. Now, Dave Bellamy brought up a perfect question, and this is regarding if one of the currencies begins to fall prior to the others, what kind of chaos that would cause. Well, I believe we just saw a perfect instance of that. The yen will go first. It looks like right now. They have kind of corrected a few times now, and that has caused issues with the United States market. So we've seen this twice now. They're trying to time it a little better, but basically that currency is in serious trouble. So with this, I believe the dollar is going to go last. If nothing else, it is still the reserve currency. But going over to Germany, their economic crisis deepening from their minister. Now, Germany is the powerhouse. If you're new here, they are the powerhouse of Europe. They are the manufacturing center. So they are the one country actually producing a large amount. However, their GDP now has contracted for 2 quarters in a row. Yesterday, I spoke about basically through a shell company doing quantitative easing to them through this new method of business, allowing them to do business directly through America and funnel the funds back because they can pull down the euro significantly. So between those two, we've also got on the other side, we've got the UK with all of the political issues that they've got. They're also weakening as well. So we're watching all of them kind of balance each other out and basically wind down this race to the bottom, if you will. These are the currency wars. So with this, let's go into real wars. So basically, we've got a lot of um, Ukraine nuclear issues. They're saying now that they've got a couple of nuclear plants that have had fires. They've been attacked with drones. They're going back and forth with this. But basically, very dangerous game they're playing right now. And this is along with other wars that are basically real wars. So we've got, this is Alex Karp. If you don't recognize him, he's the crazy head of Palantir. So he's saying the United States is likely to fight a three-front war versus Russia, China, and Iran. Well, we already are by proxy, and he couldn't be any happier because his company basically is benefiting from all of this. So with this, we've got another Hezbollah leader was basically assassinated over the weekend, and that caused a little more unrest. So there's going to be more, whatever you call it, retaliation, however you want to put that. So still at war, still driving this military industrial complex, which is also highly inflationary, but it does run the GDP. So it's great for the GDP. So still producing weapons and shipping them over. Okay, I'd like to speak about this for a bit because this is very concerning. And this is World Health Organization issuing the highest level of alert amid this outbreak. It is now, they have admitted, a global concern rapidly spreading through close contact. Now, there's not a lot of cases, so I want to clarify this. They basically found a case in Sweden, and there's been a couple of cases elsewhere. However, It's not massively spreading anywhere. But the important part that scares me here is that they're saying, despite all of this, they're advising countries not to close their borders or impose any travel restrictions. So, with this, on the back of this, they've already got enough of the solution for this, which includes that jelly that they force into you internally, to cover globally. So the whole point of this is not about lockdowns. They're saying it's not that. Don't bother closing the borders, because we're just going to make sure that it's mandatory that this stuff gets spread around through the world. So this is good for a few companies. They saw massive increases from this, and they're ready to go. So I just want to warn you about that. Okay, with this, we've got, and this is ironic, complete 180-degree turn. We've got the United States moving toward total censorship, and this is a warning coming out of Moscow from Russia. So they've got a couple of their basically journalists, and they're getting shut down, all of their communications being censored. So totally turned around from the way that it used to be. With this, going along the censorship theme, we've got X, formerly Twitter, and I have to give kudos to Elon Musk for this. He basically was given a letter of threat, and one of his employees was threatened uh, about allowing censorship and control. So he just decided to shut down everything in the office in Brazil, printed the letter for everybody to see, and giving him a dose of his own medicine. So I think that's excellent. And yeah, we need more of that. Okay, going over to the UK again, we've got an issue with this. They are going to mandate, Tony Blair is talking about mandating digital ID to crack down on the dissent. Now, we were speaking about this being the purpose of it anyway, forced identification and just tying it into biologicals. And with this, we've got Malaysia, who is being basically the poster child for this, is using the altcoin. That is the one world coin that is scanning your retina, tying that in with your digital ID, and that will also go along with their social scores. Okay, last thing I want to bring up, this came directly from Iran. This is their view. Europe is planning the Abraham Accords too. So basically, they're talking about France, Germany, and Britain joining 146 countries that recognize Palestine as a state. And they're basically saying that um, they're requesting concessions from Iran. Iran doesn't like this. And so they are talking about still continuing to support their resistance groups in Palestine, Lebanon, Iraq, and Syria. Now, this is an article from Iran, from their official newspaper. So I know I'm going to catch a lot of garbage for this, but that is what they're saying, not my opinion. So at any rate, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your weekend until I see you again. Stay free.